Hello again. So, for these parts, they're a little bit too long to fit under the bottom part of the armor, so I cut laterally down the center here, and I removed several millimeters to shorten it up, and then just sanded and glued that back together. And then this is where the fuel pods are going to come out, so I am working on the ball joint attachment. Put a paw plate blocker, and then another paw plate with the joint cut out of the center, and then some spacers so that this plate is glued into place, so if there's some friction being pulled from the ball, it won't affect this piece, it'll just pop out. Then I just got to sand and put a final plate on here. I cut a channel for rods to come out here. I just need to work on the parts where those rods fit into the actual mesh. For this bottom part, this is going to be resting underneath the main skirt armor. This is the main chest beam weaponry. I'm going to keep that under the mono eye area here. This is the bottom. Cover up some of these gaps. Added a rail here so that I can use this slot here and this peg here on this. It'll fit just like that, and I carved a channel here to make room for the beam weaponry. And this was just cut and sanded, and added a piece of plow plate for a tab and cut a hole there, and so that will just slide in like so. And then did some modifications to the head unit. I glued the two halves together. I carved a channel through the bottom here to make use of this rail. So this will slide in like so, and we'll be able to use the head mechanism for the larger mono eye. I'll show you later, but it'll sandwich on the top, and then this will blend in with the exposed metal parts on the rear skirt armor, so this should look like a kind of a cohesive interior unit. For this piece, I'm just going to add some paw plate along the edges here and here to close up some of the gaps. I may add in a little bit, maybe some putty or something in here to kind of fill in this detail here a little bit. This was just a tab that needs to be glued in as well. That was just slid into the existing rails here so that I can make a flat part in the mono eye area, as well as use the head unit. Alright, so far on this part, this looks like a lot going on here, but it's just working on the internal structure before I seal up the top and bottom plates here. And I'm not using the original ones because you're not going to see most of this area, and I maybe want to use those details on another project. So because of that, I have other parts that are going to attach, namely the center area where the mono eye, formerly the crotch component, that's going to fit into this square housing here, as well as the two side elements which were part of the, I believe, the backpack. Those will have two pieces of rod, plastic rod, one of which I'll drill into the sides here as well as the tops here. So this one will be drilled through 2 layers of paw plate and this one, so I think that'll be enough to hold it in place. And then so these other parts here are just to make a more level platform for both the centerpiece and the bridge to lay across, because I didn't want it to buckle from pressure when I'm fitting parts or pulling parts on and off. That's another reason for this center plate here. So there's more attachment points in the center to distribute the weight evenly. And I've cut a notch here in this what's going to be kind of the exposed engine of this fighter. And I don't have it with me, but the head is going to slot in here and kind of make one unit between this and the internals of the head frame. And I've also carved some slots here for thrusters. They'll attach here. Alrighty, so got a little bit farther on the Sazabi Ver.Logic. Here's a little bit of a mock-up of a little bit more finalized design. I may shorten the gun barrel here a bit. Kind of want to embed it in the thruster housing here and kind of integrate it into the engine housing here. And then may cut a notch in the mono eye area a bit to be some metallic detail here, just some exposed mechanical parts, as well as kind of the mountings for the missile pods. Those are still just blue tacked on. As far as the underside, it's essentially 3 main components: the original crotch armor and the 2, I think, part of the backpack I've been working on. I am almost ready to add the pegs for these. These are just about to be glued on to the main shell. These are just ball joint housed right there. These will be extended up to meet this angle here with a little channel carved out to house these thrusters here. The main thruster will be in the back there, the secondary one a little bit lower. Those will just be put in with a pin. Let's take those off. I haven't completely done my final decision yet on the attachments for some of the secondary thrusters, but I'm not too worried about those. So there's kind of the silhouette I have going on right now. Do a bit of a part breakdown. So there's some slots carved in here, and that'll house this thruster here. And I'll be filling in the center here and make a little bit more of a natural attachment point for the main rifle gun there. So you can see the head is sort of integrated into the mechanical detail here, so we'll cover this gap up here and these little gaps there, but just wanted to make this kind of look like one whole cohesive unit. But these will be pinned with 2 pegs. I've carved the slot there. This slots in with this square tab here. Just goes down in this interior part I've added. That just goes in like so, and then the head tabs in there, a little resting point here to there, just like so. I'm going to fill in this area with some putty just to kind kind of complete this mono eye area in the head. And this guy just slots right out. I add some plow plate here to get rid of some of these gaps and add a little bit more detail. Well, you won't see most of it because it'll be sandwiched next to the other pods. This guy just slides into the rail, and then you've seen before this is slid into the tab. That's pretty much it. So we've just got the main housing here for the whole unit. These will be glued onto the bottom tonight. The main thruster for the bottom, two side pontoons to house some thrusters and the propellant tanks, and then all of the smaller thrusters and smaller detail. Might be more detail later, but just want to make sure I get the main components finished first. But I'm pretty close, I think. We'll be a lot happier once the pegs are screwed into the bottom here and the extensions of these are mounted, so I get a much more cohesive unit between the main parts, and then I can worry about the minor attachments for all the smaller parts. But yeah, so I guess next time we'll go over those additions and housing the thrusters and a bunch of other smaller details. So see you guys.